guys, it's Naomi here, your rapid renovation expert. So you've dealt with all the nitty-gritty stuff so far. We've talked about finding property previously on the blog, working out all the paperwork side of things, all the finances. So that means you're kind of almost done. Yay! And now is the moment you have been waiting for. You're finally onto an actual renovation side of things. So how are you going to go about the renovation then? Have you figured out what parts you're going to renovate? Or are you still stuck as to whether those kitchen cabinets really need to be replaced? I know this part is so exciting. After all the pre-planning and dealing with the paperwork side of things, all you want to do is pick up a sledgehammer and start knocking down walls, right? But trust me, if you let your inner demolition diva and the excitement get ahead of you, you might just regret it. What's going to happen if you start putting in a grand kitchen and then halfway through, after all the excitement has cooled off, you realise that it's totally the wrong style for your target market? You'll either have to continue with the wrong style and hope that someone bites at the end, or start all over again. Either way, it's a sure way to waste money and time. So remember the end goal, to make a profit, right? So how do you do that? You do that by catering to what your target market wants. So if your target buyers are vegetarians, you're not going to try and sell them a prime cut of beef or a meat pie, right? Yeah, probably not. So the same goes for renovating. Always keep your target buyers in mind, because they're the ones in the end that are going to lead to you getting your profit goal. So put all those tools away right now, bury those overalls, and let's do a little bit more planning. Plan, and replan your renovation, I say. But Naomi, I have drawn up the plans already. My budget's already been worked out. I can't change everything now. These are probably the thoughts that are running through your head right now, I'm sure. But I'm not asking you to completely change your plans and your sketches and your estimates. What I am asking you is to double or even triple check all those original concepts that you've got in place, just to make sure they're still ready and appropriate to put into play. You know what? Let's think about it. A soccer coach might have his gameplay completely drawn up and ready to go before the game even starts, but he will almost always be continually assessing and tweaking his strategy until the game begins. Why? Because there are only so many things that you can anticipate beforehand. Maybe one of his players turns out to have a stomach bug, maybe one of the star players, or perhaps the field's really muddy and he has to do something to prevent everyone slipping over. You are the coach in this situation. When you're working out how much to pay for the property, there are a lot of different things to consider. I've already covered all those a lot in previous posts, and I'm sure you've got a lot that you're thinking about. Now, because there's a whole lot of stuff to consider when dealing with the actual buying of the property, it will also trickle down to the actual renovating too. For example, if you ended up paying just a tiny bit more for the property than you originally had written up in your budget, it then means that this will most likely have to shift around some of your renovation numbers too. So that means that maybe the super shiny taps that you're wanting to be put in perhaps maybe need to go somewhere else, or maybe one of the kitchen walls that you plan on getting rid of needs to stay. So you have a profit set in mind, a particular number, and you want to keep it that way. After all, that's the whole reason that you're buying a property in this patch and completing this renovation. So when you're juggling around your renovation plan, just be sure that these changes that you make to the renovation plans don't affect the overall look that the target buyers will be trying to find. So rethinking your renovation plan doesn't mean switching out the luxury part for a complete budget part that completely affects the appeal of the property for the target market. There are plenty of different options even within a banded level of finish. So don't go swapping out part of your renovation that then means you're going to be missing the mark. So How do you know what's worth changing and what needs to stay put? Focus on the most alluring features and downplay the least. So I'm going to say that again. Focus on the most alluring features and downplay the least. Think about it. How does a celebrity do it? How do they look so radiant in the spotlight with perfectly accentuated eyes and a button nose and highlighter, eyeliner and beautifully shaped dress that draws attention to all their best features? And you know what? Underneath all that, they have a pair of Spanx and heaps of concealer to hide their worst. So just like celebrities, you are the makeup artist and the beauty stylist of your renovation project. When you're planning out the renovation, you need to hone in on the standout features of that property. For example, is your property Art Deco era, or does it have high ceilings and beautiful, intricate cornice work? If so, the last thing you want to be doing is ripping these details out and adding kitchen cupboards that go all the way to the ceiling and make the place feel small and boring. So, you want to instead maybe add some vintage lighting to draw attention to these features and watch your sale price and your profit go up. Now, I'm not saying that you should be hiding the not so good features. I'm not talking about putting a cupboard in front of a giant crack in the wall or using a rug to cover rotten floorboards. You just need to work out how to offset them and how much it's going to cost. When you're renovating for wealth, it's absolutely essential that you work out how you're going to highlight the highlights of the property and diminish the lowlights of the property. And at all stages, it's really important to plan and replan. And when something changes, avoid going down the wrong renovation path, avoid sticking to your original plan when all you really need to do is pivot and twist and be responsive and reflexive with the renovation process.